Hey everyone, it's Twin Soul Poets. We are your go-to couple for love and relationship advice.
Dope spoken word poetry
and
and
uplifting
uplifting
content. We're back and better than ever.
Today, we are going to be sharing with you 7 signs that your relationship is going through a spiritual awakening.
Before we get into it, make sure you like this video and subscribe for more amazing uplifting content like this.
Yeah, hit the bell icon too.
First, let's talk about what a spiritual awakening means for us.
Let's.
For me, a spiritual awakening in relationship means discovering the deeper potential of yourself and your relationship beyond just the 5 senses and connecting those things beyond the 5 senses to the physical experience.
Yeah, it can kind of sometimes feel like,
That's real. That's really real. It sometimes does feel like that.
I like that one meme of like the little girl riding the teacups, and it's like when you're going through a spiritual awakening and what it really feels like. She's like, oh my God!
And especially in a relationship, because it can kind of like blow you open to experiences and parts of yourself that like you might have not anticipated or knew that you were ready for. But it can also be a really extraordinary and magical journey. And I think sometimes when people think of spiritual awakening, they think of like meditating all the time and, you know, just being so like highly evolved and never getting angry or upset. Like that's not my idea of spiritual awakening or what my experience has been of it. But I think it's bringing the spiritual into the physical, like seeing a beautiful sunset, that can awaken you. Hearing the wisdom of a child, that can awaken you. Having really deep connecting sex, like that can awaken you. So it's these everyday things that become spiritual from your deeper awareness and connection to them.
Number 1, the first sign of a spiritual awakening in your relationship is deeper sex. Now, sex has so much more potential beyond just the physical realms, the physical satisfaction, releasing of tension, all of that we know about sex, right? But there is definite energetic and spiritual aspects to sex and making love. There's a reason why they call it making love. You can literally, through this union of the physical, create the energy of love, create powerful love between two people.
Yeah, I think so. It's like, you know, Marvin Gaye knew about it. It's about sexual healing. Like,
Yes.
I feel like that wasn't just him singing a song. I mean, it's true. When you really get into those deeper, more present layers of the sexual experience, it can be powerfully healing, physically, spiritually, emotionally, mentally, on all levels. And we've definitely begun to experience that. And I feel like we're still at the tip of the iceberg of the potential. Also, I've noticed like the feeling of wanting to slow down in your sexual experience, to really connect, that it's not about like a means to an end. It starts to become like an exploration, a journey, and that it has peaks and valleys. It doesn't always have to be this heightened. There's this beautiful space where you can have this quiet and you can notice the subtleties going on in your body and between your partner, and those energetic flow and feelings that are a little bit more quiet and a little bit more subtle and a little bit more gentle, and can be still just as powerful.
If you are interested in learning more about the deeper potentials of sex to empower your life, not just your relationship, check out this interview that we did with Taoist sex practitioner Jay Lotus. It was incredibly transformative.
Amazing.
You guys. It helped us so much.
The next sign of spiritual growth in your relationship are synchronicities that are leading you towards spiritual growth and development. For example, the course that Hamilton mentioned happened because the Taoist sex master that we talked about, Jade Lotus, reached out to us randomly on Instagram. And it was like, oh, I like your energy, I like your vibe, I think you'd be really interested in what I do. We got the opportunity to try her course. It propelled us immensely in our spiritual experience and our sexuality, and it was very much in line with the things that we'd been learning and wanting to improve upon. And it just showed up. And I think the more that you start to commit to your own spiritual growth and your own journey, the more things suddenly start to show up.
And a big part of that too, of inviting in synchronicities and allowing the growth to happen from those, is getting used to saying yes to things like that, right? When people reach out to you with opportunities, when people invite you to events. We just got to go to a potluck dinner last weekend with some friends at a friend's house and meet a bunch of new people, and it was like this whole tribe of people who are very spiritually aligned, very in tune with Ingrid and I's personal beliefs and things, and we got so much inspiration out of it, so much connection, and that's leading me to do like a live talk in a few months. I got to like book that and set that in place with one of the people that were there. Also got inspiration for what I want to talk about in my message. So these kinds of things, it's like following the breadcrumbs that life
Yes.
gives you. And I think that saying yes to things is such a big part of that.
The next sign of a spiritual awakening in a relationship can be tough. It is when challenges seem like they're showing up back to back. And what we've learned is this is often your higher self calling you to respond in a greater way. It's calling you to more growth. It's calling you to respond differently than you have in the past. And this has been huge for us. Anytime we've recognized this opportunity for growth, we have seen leaps and bounds in our relationship. And when you get hindered by it, you tend not to see that. But we've learned over time that when we look at a challenge and we say, okay, what can we learn from this? How can we respond differently than we did before? It has served us so much.
Yeah, it's really like creates those exponential leaps and bounds in the relationship. And I think that challenges in life in general often show up as a way to show us what patterns of behavior, what habits, what old ways of being are no longer serving us or are no longer in alignment with our goals and with where we're trying to get to, right? And the person or the relationship that we're trying to be.
Right.
And sometimes those are the most valuable opportunities for growth because, you know, like Michael Bernard Beckwith says, pain pushes until the vision pulls. It takes sometimes these uncomfortable experiences to show us with crystal clarity what is no longer working so that we can make a change and shift into alignment with what we really want.
And it gives you the opportunity to create a new vision of your relationship. Like anything else, like relationships can mature, relationships can grow. Like it doesn't have to be a stagnant thing that just remains the same for the rest of your life. Like there can be changes and growth and looking at things differently. So it's like maybe that's an opportunity to get with your partner and redefine like what is our new vision for our relationship? You know, it's time to take that quantum leap. It's time to take that next step.
Just remember, guys, that in the darkness, it's not only our deepest fears that hide there, but also our true selves, because we've learned that it's scary to reveal our true selves. So we hide those deepest truths in there as well. And so recognizing that going into those dark nights of the soul, those deep challenges, those are the greatest opportunities to not just face our fears, but find our truest selves.
That's really important because I think a lot of people on this journey will think about, oh, it's in the light and it's just being positive and beautiful and dancing on the clouds all the time. And it's like, that's a spiritual bypassing. Whereas like, I think that spirituality is all of it. It doesn't exclude your humanity. It doesn't exclude the parts of yourself that aren't perfect. It's about facing those things and accepting all of yourself and integrating and doing the alchemy of coming into your true self. So I think that's really powerful and really important part of this video.
The next sign that your relationship is going through a spiritual awakening is dream sharing. Have you ever woke up with your partner and realized that both of you were dreaming about either very similar things or like the exact same thing, almost like you were inside each other's dreams? That's always pretty interesting and cool.
It's fascinating.
Yes, dreams are a very powerful spiritual way to receive guidance, receive insights or wisdom from, you know, who knows, from other realms, from our spirit guides. That is a way that oftentimes those realms will communicate it with us through dreams. And when we are both having the same dreams coming to us, that can be a sign that like this is a message for both of us.
It has been fascinating to me whenever this has happened. I mean, I remember there's times that down to the details that we've woken up and shared a dream, and it's like, oh, you were in this elementary school, I was in this elementary school. You saw this thing, I saw this thing. It would just be thing after thing that was just right in the line. And I don't even fully understand like the implications of that, but I feel like if we really worked on that, if we intentionally before we went to bed every night were intending to like connect in the dream state, that we probably would, even into like things like astral projection and things like that. I'm sure there's
lucid dreaming.
I think the more that you're with someone, you get this very psychic, intuitive connection. It's like when you have a sense that you need to call your partner and then you find out they had a fender bender, or like, you know, something like that, where you can just start picking up on each other. That's what it feels like with this dream thing. So it's really interesting to me and something that I'd love to explore even more. Let us know if you've experienced this in your spiritual awakening in your relationship.
The next sign that your relationship is going through a spiritual awakening is you want to invest in spiritual pursuits together. Things like meditation, things like going to, you know, energy healings together. Sweat lodges, you know, things like that. This can be really powerful ways to receive that collective guidance to know not just what are the next steps forward on your personal path, but the next steps forward for your relationship to
Right.
move forward together and be able to better serve the world.
I agree, because sometimes you need help from someone outside of yourselves. And I think you'll find yourself being drawn to opportunities, workshops, teachers that can help you. And we have definitely found that to be true. I think that you'll find that as you're going through a spiritual awakening in your relationship, that you're going to want to reach out to others to help you along your journey. When we went to that sweat lodge, we had such a powerful experience. And it was something that came to us once again through synchronicity, just kind of showed up and we said yes to. And we both individually and as a couple had a powerful experience. I mean, we had all of these like very spiritual moments. We were driving out, leaving the event, and this huge bird comes and swoops down, like literally down onto the car. I'm talking about like a massive hawk. And the whole symbol of this retreat that we were on was a thunderbird. So it just seemed like a very clear and definite sign that we were on the right path.
So be open to sharing your personal spiritual practice with your partner.
The next sign of a spiritual awakening in your relationship is opportunities for generational healing. This has been so deeply humbling for me and for us to realize that many of the challenges that we were having within our relationship weren't even really ours. They had to do with these family cycles, habits, traumas that we were unconsciously healing and working on. But I think when we became conscious of it, we could make the choice to say, okay, we don't have to continue to carry these things forward, and we can consciously heal them, and we can consciously decide what we want to pass on to the next generation. And I think when we were working with a spiritual coach and they brought this to our attention, it was a huge shift for the both of us.
We all go through emotional ups and downs, and a lot of our own emotional patterns are formed early in childhood, right? So doing some of this inner child work and things, Ingrid and I were blessed again to be able to do some of that work together. And then from there, you're shining a light on things that may have been operating in the subconscious for years and years and years.
Right.
And then by bringing it to awareness, bringing it to light, then you have the opportunity to change it, to rewrite the story. Sign number 7 that your relationship is going through a spiritual awakening is that you are deeply feeling each other intuitively. There's an enhanced, maybe almost like telepathic connection to where your communication, like it doesn't even need words at a certain point. You can just intuitively know where your partner is at, sense what they're needing, what they're not needing, if they're needing space, if they're going through something difficult. Ingrid and I have this all the time. Good luck trying to lie to your partner also at this point, because
or even
it's
hide
not
your
gonna work.
emotions,
Yeah.
not even just lying like an outward lie, but even just like covering up your true feelings. It's that intensity of the intuitive connection seems to grow and become more and more strong.
At this point in a relationship, it can be really important to make sure that you're setting clear energetic boundaries so that you're not personalizing each other's feelings. Those lines can become really blurred sometimes if they're feeling something and then you feeling it. So it's important to maintain those boundaries in a healthy way so that you can be supportive without taking things on.
Absolutely. So we hope this was interesting and helpful to you guys. Let us know if you have any signs that you've noticed in your relationship. Share them with us. Let's keep the conversation going. Check out the video that we mentioned at the beginning of the video. We have the link down below, and we look forward to seeing you guys next time. Thank you so much for watching.
Peace.